بَلْ يُرِيدُ الْإِنسَانُ لِيَفْجُرَ أَمَامَهُ. In fact, man wants to be mischievous before his conscience. The implication of this verse is that it is mere frivolous talk on the part of the disbelievers to deny the day of judgment, because they think that gathering bones is improbable. The reality is that they become slaves to their desires. While following them, they want to be mischievous before the judge appointed by the Almighty. This judge is not far away, he is sitting within them. Their example is that of a thief who wants to steal in front of a judge. Exegetes have generally taken the word amamahu, or in front of him, to mean that man in his future life wants to continue to adhere to sin. For this reason, he tries to invent excuses for denying the day of judgment. However, if this interpretation is accepted, it does not relate to the reproaching soul, and nor does it become an irrefutable argument against his attitude. Here the word in front of means in front of his conscience, and reproaching soul, he wants to be mischievous in spite of reminders from this faculty. The greatest evidence of the day of judgment is found within man. However, what can one do about a person who becomes adamant in denying his own self? The argument found in this verse is that a man's conscience is enough to bear witness to the day of judgment. However, one cannot shut the mouth of a person who is audacious enough to tell a lie before his own conscience. It follows from this that a person who commits a vice against his reproaching soul, or in other words his own conscience, is one who actually commits vice in the presence of God. This is because one's conscience is a judge appointed by God, as indicated above. Thus a vice committed before it is a vice committed before God. يَسْأَلُ أَيَّانَ يَوْمُ الْقِيَامَةِ. He asks, when will the day of judgment come? This is a mention of the stubbornness of those who disbelieved in the day of judgment. In spite of the fact that an accountability court is found within them, and they are also aware of it, they ask about the day of judgment. They would sarcastically remark, if it is to come, why is it not coming? We are tired of being threatened about it. It was in fact never supposed to come, and neither will it come in the future. So why should we be overawed by these threats? Those who are claiming that it will come one day must bring it and show it to us. Only then we will believe in it. Mere verbal claims will not convince us. فَإِذَا بَرِقَ الْبَصَرُ وَخَسَفَ الْقَمَرُ وَجُمِعَ الشَّمْسُ وَالْقَمَرُ يَقُولُ الْإِنسَانُ يَوْمَئِذٍ أَيْنَ الْمَفَرُ. Thus, when the sight is dazed and the moon eclipsed, and the sun and the moon brought together, at that time man will say, whither to flee? The implication of these verses is that today these disbelievers are showing impatience at the delay in the day of judgment, as if they are fully ready to encounter it. But where will they run to when they actually face its horrors? Since the demand of being showing the day of judgment is an absolutely absurd demand, no reply is given by the Qur'an to it. However, some horrific aspects of that day are portrayed by it in these verses. The state of affairs portrayed belongs to the category of the mutashabihat. We cannot grasp their true form in this world. The purpose of this portrayal is to show that such will be the upheaval that will ensue on that day, that the sun and the moon will leave their own orbits and adopt the same path. Who can comprehend the horrific nature of this? The implication is that if people even have a semblance of intellect in them, they should seek refuge from these horrors and adhere to the path which is being shown to them and which will save them from these horrors. Thus, they should stop showing impatience on its delay. It should remain clear that the incidents which will happen on that day mentioned here merely give a slight picture of what will happen, and are only a handful of what else will happen when the day actually comes. In the coming surahs of this group, various other aspects of the Judgment Day will be depicted. These too will only be a few, for the tongue is unable to portray all of them. كَلَّا لَا وَزَرْ إِلَىٰ رَبِّكَ يَوْمَئِذٍ الْمُسْتَقَرُّ. No, there is no refuge now. Towards your Lord that day is the abode. This is the answer to the question quoted in the previous verse, whether to flee. Except for seeking refuge with God, all other paths and ways will be closed to them. يُنَبَّأُ الْإِنسَانُ يَوْمَئِذٍ بِمَا قَدَّمَ وَأَخَّرَ. On that day, man will be informed what he sent forward and what he left behind. Mentioned in this verse is the real reason for the advent of the Day of Judgment. Being informed here means being shown the consequences of the deeds. The results of both the vices a person committed in the previous world and the virtues he failed to attain will become apparent to him. At many places in the Qur'an, it is specifically mentioned that on the Day of Judgment, those who remained indifferent to it will express extreme frustration. They will express regret for not having done good deeds in the previous world and not having followed the warnings of the messengers of God and not professing faith in them. The words qaddama and akhara embrace all the evil deeds and vices committed by such people. It should be kept in mind that to achieve success in the hereafter, a person has to do many good deeds and evade evil ones. However, those who are indifferent to the hereafter or deny it either are indifferent to or deviate from deeds which pave the way for their success in the hereafter. On the other hand, all their life they keep committing deeds which will lead them to doom in the hereafter. This verse sounds a warning to such deprived and bereft people. بَلِ الْإِنسَانُ عَلَى نَفْسِهِ بَصِيرًا وَلَوْ أَلْقَى مَعَاذِيرًا. In fact, he himself is a witness upon his own self, however much he may put up excuses. These verses explain what is mentioned earlier by the words, بَلْ يُرِيدُ الْإِنسَانُ لِيَفْجُرَ أَمَامَهُ, or, in fact, man wants to be mischievous before his conscience. There the discourse, with relation to the question posed by the opponents, يَسْأَلُ أَيَّانَ يَوْمُ الْقِيَامَةِ, or, when will the Day of Judgment come, had shifted to the portrayal of the Day of Judgment. Now in this verse, the discourse returns to its original course and the subject under discussion is completed. The expression basiratun ala nafsihi means shahidun ala nafsihi, or he is a witness upon his own self. The reason for this has already been mentioned earlier. The reproaching soul within man bears witness to the hereafter. There is no need to go far to find a testimony to this day. He can see its reflection within his own conscience. The word ma'azirun is a plural of ma'azira. It is actually ma'azir. A ya has been added in it just as it has been added in manakir. It means false pretexts and baseless excuses. There is an Arabic proverb, al-ma'aziru makaziru, or excuses are but lies. Some people think that it is a plural of mi'zar, which in the Yemenite tongue means a curtain. I disagree with this view because the Qur'an has been revealed in the idiomatic language of the Quraysh and not that of the people of Yemen.